I picked up a new hobby a couple of months ago. I started running. Now, for me, that's kind of weird. When I was in middle school and high school, running was the last thing that I would have wanted to do. In fact, when I played sports, running was the punishment I wanted to avoid. But over the last couple months, because of quarantine and not wanting to pack on some pounds, I started running. And I was running 3, 4, 5 miles a day, and I genuinely love running. And I love the sense of accomplishment that you get when a run is over. But really, the best part of a run is when it's over. Because you don't have to run anymore, and all the good stuff about running comes after. Like, you come inside, and you're nice and sweaty and smelly, and maybe the first thing you do is you grab some water. Then you might make your way into the bathroom, and you take off your nasty, sweaty, smelly clothes. You throw them in the dirty clothes. You start the shower, whether you do hot showers, cold showers, doesn't matter. The shower is awesome. And so you jump in the shower, you suds up so you don't smell anymore. You jump out of the shower, you grab your warm, soft towel, you dry off, nice and dry. And then here's the good part, is you grab those nasty, smelly, stinky, smelly and stinky are the same thing. You grab the nasty clothes out of the dirty clothes and you put them back on. Obviously, no sane person would do that. Like, you went through all the trouble to be washed and made clean and so you don't smell anymore. So why on earth would you put that back on? Like, what kind of person does that? I think that question is one that Paul can relate to when we come to Galatians 4, 8-20. I want to read just a portion of it for you. Paul, talking to the Galatians, it says, "Formerly, when you did not know God, you were enslaved to those that by nature are not God's." So he says, before you knew God, you lived your life a certain way and you were enslaved by things that are not God. But now that you have come to know God, or rather that God, or you've been known by God, how can you turn back to the weak and worthless ways of the world, whose slaves you want to be once more? Paul is saying, your life was a certain way, you were enslaved, Christ came, set you free, and now your life should be a different way, but you've gone back. You've gone back to the old ways, your before Jesus ways. Each of us have before Jesus ways. Things you did and said, and things you watched on TV or on the internet, or ways that you talked to people or about people before Jesus, before you realized the way that we should live as children of the King. But Paul is saying, you Galatian Christians, you've resorted back to your before Jesus days. And Paul even says, I'm afraid that I've labored in vain over you. He says, I'm afraid that my work wasn't worth it. That's kind of harsh language from Paul, but over the next couple verses, he explains a little bit. He says when he first came to these Galatian Christians and shared the gospel message with them, they bought in right away. Paul says, I came to you with a physical infirmity. Paul, it says his eyesight is not good. He might have had cataracts. It's probably what he had. But he says, when I came to you and I shared the message of Jesus with you, you were so moved by the love of Christ that you almost would have gouged out your own eyes and given them to me if you could. They were so changed by Jesus that they would have plucked out their own eyes. That's crazy. But Paul says, now I'm perplexed about you. Because this life-changing truth that you once believed, you've now walked back. and you've enslaved yourself to the things that you're free from. The application, I think, for us this week, Crossing students, is to take a look at ourselves. In what ways am I walking back to my before Jesus life? In what ways am I putting on my nasty, sweaty clothes after I've been made clean? Jesus has set us free, and our lives should be different now. But a lot of times, you and I, we walk back to our before Jesus life. We talk to people and about people the way we did before Jesus. We watch the things on TV and on the internet that we did before Jesus. Our lives are different. So this week, what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at yourself, and I'm going to be doing the same. In what ways have I reverted? In what ways have I gone back to my before Jesus life? What nasty, stinky clothes have I put back on? I know that I've probably put some back on. Crossing students, this week is the week. Let's evaluate. Let's look at our lives and see where we are missing the mark. Christ has set us free. So let's live like it.